So we have reached the year 1988 in my best player in the league series. And because it's 1988, I finally get to say something good about Michael Jordan. I finally get to praise Michael Jordan because in 1988, in addition to 1989, 1990, and of course 91 through 93, Michael Jordan, and not Irvin Magic Johnson, was the best player in the league. Okay? So, 1988 presents a little bit of a problem for my criteria. My criteria is the highest scoring member of the all-defense team that has a chip. Okay? So when we look at the highest scoring member of the all-defense team that has a chip, that person is Kevin McHale. And Kevin McHale, at least in 1988, had experienced a decline in offense. It just clearly wasn't the best player in the league that year. Not only did he not win the MVP, although that's not that important to me, but you have the problem of this guy Michael Jordan, who's having arguably the greatest regular season in NBA history. So this year he wins the MVP, and he wins the Defensive Player of the Year award. So, but Michael Jordan doesn't have a chip. So my problem with players, awarding players that haven't gotten over the hump, is just that. We don't really know how they're going to perform in the playoffs. The Bulls, I believe this was the first year that they lost to Detroit. It was 88, 89, 90. Then they lost, and then they beat them in 91. But it's immaterial to my point. So Michael Jordan doesn't have a chip. Okay. And then you have Magic Johnson, who is generally considered to have been the best player of this particular era, if you will. He would go on to win the MVP in 1989 and in 1990. He is not a member of the all-defense team. So you have a little bit of a dilemma. Which do I value more? Which should be valued more, I should say. Having had a chip, having a championship, or being an elite defender. And I am going to go with being an elite defender. So you may say, well, your criteria is specifically tailored to advantage Kobe Bryant. Kobe, obviously has 12 all-defense team, was a great scorer, won chips early. Your criteria is specifically tailored to advantage Kobe Bryant. Well, I actually didn't pull this criteria out of my ass. I once, like everyone else, believed Michael Jordan was the GOAT. Uh, I had Kobe ranked fourth. Okay, I still had him ranked ahead of LeBron. This was about 6-7 years ago. So what changed my mind was when I realized that every champion has had an all-defense team member. Every champion has had an all-defense team member. And when I say that, I mean there are a couple of cases where the champion had a player that had been on the all-defense team maybe a year or two prior or a year or two subsequent. But every champion has had at least one elite defender. Okay? Now, so my point is that not all skill sets are created equal. Basically, being able to stay in front of people, elite defense is more impactful to a championship team than is, let's say, playmaking, the steals leader. That's pretty much irrelevant to a championship leader, to a championship team. I won't say irrelevant, but not as significant. Or for that matter, even rebounding. If you look at the members of the all-defense team, one of them is almost always wins the chip. That is less so the case with regard to, let's say, the top 10 rebounders or the top 10 assist leaders. Okay? So this is another reason why I have Kobe ahead of LeBron. Defense beats playmaking. So to underscore this point, what I did was I took a look at players that averaged 9 assists per game. Okay? And you scroll through this list, not counting, multiple seasons, but just how many instances of players averaging 9 assists per game in a season. That has happened 156 times in NBA history. Okay? So you scroll down this list, that has happened 156 times in NBA history. Okay? Only 3 of them even made the finals. Okay? Without an all-defense team member as a teammate, or being all-defense themselves. Okay? Only 3 of them even made the finals. So you really have to get this. Playmaking is insufficient to get a team even to the finals, basically without great defense. Okay? One champion, and that was again Nikola Jokic last year. Okay? One champion. Then you have Magic in 1991 and LeBron's 2018 team that was swept. Okay? To underscore the point, what I also did was I looked at players that had scored 16 or fewer points per game. Okay? So these are not your elite scorers. Okay? These are not your, Michael Jordan's not going to be on this list. Okay? These are basically pretty much role-playing scorers. Okay? That had appeared on the all-defense team. Okay? So what I did was I highlighted the teams that the champions. So if you look, there's the 1996 Bulls with Dennis Rodman, and then there's Bruce Bowen on the '07 Spurs. Look at the points per average. Okay, look at the scoring averages. That's highlighted in yellow. Andrew Bogut in the 2015 Warriors. Bruce Bowen, Draymond Green. Bowen again in 2005. By the way, this is part of the reason Kobe is the player of the decade. Because not only did Tim Duncan benefit from playing with David Robinson, Tony Parker, Manu Ginobili, later on in his career, Kawhi Leonard, but he also played with a top 5 small forward defender. Okay? Michael Cooper a couple of times in 85, 87. There's Bobby Jones in 1983. Okay. Then you have Ben Wallace, 2004 Pistons. Bill Russell in 1969. Again, these are just the bad scores. Now, obviously, these players play with other great players. But the point is, you have to look at the forest and not get stuck in the trees. Okay? Why are there so many highlighted seasons here? Okay? Michael Cooper in 87, Paul Silas in that 76 Boston team. Then there's Mo Cheeks, and then there's Kawhi Leonard in 2014. So, elite playmaking is nowhere near as impactful as is elite defense, even when it comes in the form of comes in the package of a mediocre score. Elite playmaking. And you would think, there's some elite playmakers that were also great scorers. So you've got your Gary Paytons, your Magic Johnsons, you've got back in the day, Tiny Archibald, so LeBron, they are generally unable to get their teams to the chip unless they've got an all-defense team member. So when comparing Michael Jordan and Magic Johnson, you have to say that Michael Jordan's skill set was more impactful to a championship team than was Magic Johnson. So it is for that reason that even though Michael Jordan had not quite gotten over the hump, he was the best player in the league in 1988, 1989, 1990. And of course, the Bulls dynasty starts with the 1991 championship season. And, they win the next 3. So, I'm certainly not going to penalize Michael Jordan for winning the chip. So Michael Jordan is the best player in the league from 1988 all the way up to the 1993 season, as well as the 1996 through 1998 season. Okay, for the same reason. He is the highest rated, he is the highest scoring member of the all-defense team for all of those seasons. Okay? I harbor no illusions about Michael Jordan's tremendous GOAT case. And I realize that the burden of proof is on me. He was an amazing player. I'll tell you a little bit of a funny story. So I think this was around 95 or 90, 94, 95. And my dad and I, my dad, lifelong Laker fan, just like I was, and when he made me a Laker fan. We're just kind of talking about basketball, and my dad remarks to me about, the finals, and he said that he was so sick and tired of Michael Jordan's bald head ass winning the championship. So this is poignant because we're both like Laker fans, okay? Looking at him hold up his fingers every year was just disgusting to us. But we had to accept and be resigned to the fact that this was the greatest player in NBA history. We had to accept it. There was just no way to deny it. The guy is holding up his fingers every damn year. So, it is what it is, Michael Jordan was the best player in the league pretty much his entire career. From 1988 until he pretty much from 1988 until he retired from the Bulls. Most certainly. And that's why I have him number 2 all time behind Kobe. But Michael Jordan was the best player in the league. 1988, 1989, 1990, 91 through 93, as well as 96 through 98.